that name brand, especially canned goods, are actually the exact same as the no-name or store brand kinds. They're actually made in the same factory.
Where the actual whole foods are that are not in packages, they're not processed. This generally leads to me not only feeling a lot better because I'm eating healthier, real whole foods, but also ends up being a lot cheaper.
Supermarkets are designed to make you spend more. The shiny displays, the perfectly stacked shelves, the limited time offers, all of it is meant to steer you toward products that fatten their margins, not your wallet. But hidden in plain sight are sections most shoppers walk past without a glance. These quiet corners and overlooked shelves are where the real savings hide. And if you know where to look, you'll cut your grocery bill without cutting the quality of what you buy. Here are 8 grocery store sections you should always check if you want to score to serious discount treasures. 1. The discounted produce rack. Everyone heads for the shiny, perfect apples and flawless tomatoes. But tucked in the corner is the real jackpot, the discounted produce rack. These are fruits and vegetables that look a little bruised or ripe, marked down to move quickly. The thing is, they're still perfectly edible, and in many cases better. Brown bananas are ideal for baking or smoothies. Overripe tomatoes are perfect for sauces, and peppers with soft spots can be chopped and frozen for later. By shopping this rack, you can fill your cart with fresh produce at half the cost while helping reduce food waste. 2. The bulk bin aisle. Bulk bins look intimidating, but they're a goldmine. Beans, lentils, rice, nuts, and spices are often dramatically cheaper here than in prepackaged form. A tiny jar of cinnamon might cost $5 on the shelf, but the same amount scooped from the bin costs less than $1. Beyond spices, you can also buy exactly the amount you need, meaning no wasted food and no half-used packages sitting in the pantry. Trail mix, oatmeal, and even baking essentials like flour and sugar can be scooped for less. The bulk section is where small adjustments add up to big savings. 3. The day-old bakery shelf. It doesn't get more underrated than this. Supermarkets bake fresh bread, bagels, and pastries every day, which means yesterday's batch has to move fast. Instead of throwing it out, stores pile it on a day-old shelf with heavy markdowns. What most shoppers don't realize is that these items are still delicious. Toast them, freeze them, or use them for recipes like French toast and bread pudding. In fact, slightly stale bread often works better for croutons and stuffing. If you skip this section, you're paying extra just for the illusion of freshness. 4. The freezer aisle beyond the flashy brands. The freezer aisle is usually dominated by big-name brands with glossy packaging, but tucked beside them are store-brand or off-brand frozen vegetables, fruits, and meals. These are often just as nutritious, if not more so, because they're flash frozen at peak ripeness. A bag of frozen spinach or mixed berries costs much less than fresh and lasts for months.
Buy like frozen strawberries and stuff, they get gooey, but this frozen mango, I don't know. Does it have honey in it? I have no idea. So cheap.
The overlooked gems here are plain frozen veggies without sauces or seasonings. They're cheap, versatile, and stretch into countless meals. The freezer aisle may not be glamorous, but it's one of the most powerful money-saving corners of the store. 5. The dairy section's store brands. Dairy products are grocery staples, which makes them a perfect place for hidden savings. Most shoppers grab the big national labels, milk, butter, cheese, yogurt, without realizing the store brand versions are sitting inches away at a lower price. The kicker? They often come from the same suppliers.
A lot of times generic and name brand will actually be made at the same facility. They just put like different packaging on it and stuff. A lot of times the ingredients are very close to being the same.
Milk, for example, is strictly regulated, so quality is the same across the board. Shredded cheese, sour cream, and cream cheese are also nearly identical between brands. If you bypass the flashy packaging and grab the quieter label, you'll shave dollars off every trip. 6. The meat department markdown section. Every meat department has it, but most shoppers never stop to check. Usually labeled manager special or markdown meats, this section features items close to their sell-by date. They're heavily discounted, sometimes by 50% or more, The secret is to buy them and either cook them that day or freeze them immediately. Chicken breasts, ground beef, steaks, and pork chops all store perfectly in the freezer. With a little planning, you can stock your freezer with premium cuts for bargain bin prices simply by checking this corner of the department. 7. The International Foods Aisle. This aisle doesn't scream discounts, but it hides them in plain sight. Products like spices, rice, canned beans, and sauces often cost significantly less here than in the regular aisles. A bag of basmati rice in the international section might be half the price of the same size bag in the standard rice aisle. The same goes for things like soy sauce, tortillas, or canned tomatoes.
Buy in bulk than it would be to buy separately. So you actually have to pay attention to the unit price of stuff, because a lot of times that will actually tell you what is the cheapest or most expensive when things are different sizes. Conception that prepackaged and like fast food and junk food is always cheaper than not, but I do not think that is correct.
These items are staples in many cultures, so stores price them competitively, while the same products dressed up with a domestic label cost more. Exploring this aisle can cut costs while expanding your cooking options. 8. The clearance end caps and hidden shelves. Every store has a clearance section, but it's rarely front and center. Sometimes it's an end cap tucked in the back. Other times it's a random shelf near the dairy or cleaning aisle. These are items the store needs to move: seasonal products, discontinued packaging, or slightly damaged goods. The markdowns can be huge, especially on non-perishable items like canned goods, pasta, or snacks. You'll often find deals the store isn't advertising anywhere else.
Brown bananas and you have so many in the freezer, you're never gonna make the banana bread. Why not turn those scraps of almost rotted fruit into freezer jam? Your grocery store might also have an ugly section where they put all the not so great looking stuff in a pile. Buy this.
The trick is to scan these shelves every time you shop. One trip it might be cereal for half price, the next it's laundry detergent. It's unpredictable, but always worth the stop. Wrapping it all up, supermarkets want you focused on the bright displays and national brands. But the smartest shoppers know the real treasures are hidden in quieter corners. Discounted produce, bulk bins, day-old bakery shelves, off-brand freezer items, store-brand dairy, markdown meats, the international aisle, and clearance shelves all hold savings most people walk past. By making a habit of checking these sections, you unlock a shopping strategy that stretches your budget without sacrificing quality. It's not about clipping coupons or chasing sales. It's about paying attention to the places the stores hope you'll ignore. The next time you shop, take a detour through these 8 sections and see how much you can save. Chances are, you'll never look at your supermarket the same way again.